We've just got going anyway, that's fine. Let's have a look. Are we back? Talk a little bit. I still can't hear you. Ah, this is an absolute mare, but... Right. Freak Vonk is already in the pits. That is not a great start for him. As is ST5, as is Dave Jarvu. Freak is definitely not winning. So, I don't know how we're going to fix this. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're running on board with Jasper, who is winning this race, and fair play to him. He's showing some absolutely brilliant pace. He needs to build a 12-second gap and get span, and then probably lose the race. As that is what you do in league racing. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Ivor is on the back of him though, and Slayer obviously is following closely behind. I tell you what could be an interesting thing to do, so that the viewers get some. I suppose the problem is I need to do it. Is look at some of the warnings. Has anyone picked up a warning already? No. At the front three, they're clean. What I'm going to do is record this footage from now, and then we're going to re-upload it. Yeah, if we re-upload it, and then that way I'll lead it, but for now the stream can kind of work, and we can just re-upload, and when I send it over to whoever. He is, yeah, and Dutchface is a big fan of doing these reverse strategies, as Jasper is... We kind of missed this. Ivor's got past Jasper under DRS for all of this stress. Apologies, guys, as we have another mover. Riley is through. Svenos Emperor... Oh, I think that might be a slight timing glitch. Yeah, very strange. And the battle for the lead is... I mean, what's really interesting here is the top 5 need to build a gap to, not necessarily with Dutchface, but they need to build a gap to your Rileys, your Bellons, you know, those kind of guys, because what they need to do is make sure they're not held up and they don't come out behind them to the point. Good move from him. Passe up into 9th place. Ryan Belshaw looking for a good result this season. He's not had the best of starts, and hopefully he can kind of get a little bit out of this race. Well, but Dutchface is having a look. He doesn't really need to this early. I mean, you could argue lap 5 and 6, I would say, is a good time to... Yeah, 100%. Swip is going to be suffering. All he has to do is just stick tight onto the back of him. It's almost too much. Well, here's an interesting area. Jasper has used a lot. Slayer has not, and Mike has not. MCR has not also, so we might see Jasper struggling a bit here as he is caning it down this straight. Only just at the beginning, but this is going to allow Slayer to... It depends on the wings. There's a lot of wing variation here, isn't there? I know that we had a slightly affected race, but I know that from speaking to people, I was speaking to people that had 3.8. I was speaking to people that had, as McDutchface does get round SWIP, but anywhere from 3.8 to pretty much like 4.10, I think, was pretty... Yeah. This is it. So even though Jasper might have got through some errors, if he's actually got lower wings, you might find... Yeah, this is it. The thing is as well, and I mean this in the greatest of respect because he engineers for me, he helps me, but when you're in second and Ivor's ahead of you, you're never out of it. Unfortunately, you're never feeling like this is gone. Yeah, I'm glad they can't hear this right now, so I'm just going to ignore that. But when it's re-uploaded, they'll understand why I said that. No, in all seriousness though, you just don't know. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. As we have Riley round, I believe, coming through the long right-hander in Sector 3. But this is... McDutchface has clung on to the back of MCR, and SWIP has already dropped. Yeah, this is... I think if we look at the leader gap, what was interesting for me is if we look at the tyres. So, slump downwards. I think Flip and Ryan are going to be their first problem that they're going to come up to. And I think they will catch them. I don't think they'll get past, I don't think they'll undercut them at this point, but what I think will happen is they could get caught behind, whereas McDutchface can extend to the point where actually he gets round them. Yeah. This is it. Jasper's kind of... Sorry, go on. A bit very early. He's going to two-stop. I'm convinced, because that's too early for me. Oh, he's going hard. He's going to have to. Yeah. I want to know what he's up to there. That's some pretty interesting stuff. It does. It does, and he would have had DRS as well for that down the main drag. If I'm McDutchface now, I'm probably using a bit of that as, not massively, but I just to try and close that gap as much as possible. Just to reiterate to the guys in the chat, we will re-upload with the so you can hear Tin Can and it will be very strange. I mean, it's interesting. They're all going lap 9. Like, you would think. I would have thought Jasper would have gambled, or Slayer would have gambled, and Jasper. Yeah. And it helps with McDutchface even more, doesn't it? I wish So the leader gap now, actually, Ryan Belshaw is the only one that's actually a problem, as there is a yellow. That's Riley. He's really struggling out there. And then... Ooh! That is an absolute dagger to McDutchface, potentially. He could pit. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's no harm in pitting. He's not at a loss to a degree. No. Well, if it ends now, he's okay. But the longer this goes on, every second is a problem to him. And this is really going to damage him, I think. No! If this guy had this is incredible. You've just reiterated to me, just for the live viewers, because Riley retired and crashed into the pit lane, it's caused a problem with the pit crew that means that Ivor is been held and he is way back, and that, I mean, I know he gets a lot of stick, but like, I don't want to hear any of it after the race. If that happened to any one of us, we would be absolutely spitting. Like, that is, yeah, 100%. No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm outwardly rooting for him now at this point, because that is. So what's interesting is Jasper is 19 seconds behind McDutchface and closing. Really, he's going to be close to Ivor actually at that point. So you would think. Really, McDutchface is probably the favourite in a sense, but Slayer is on the back and he should get this done quite easily. Switches to the inside, almost too far inside. He needs to get back over a bit quickly, and he does. I think you don't want to take that corner with the line that he had for a split second. And oh, we have a slow moving car. Yeah. So, the gap now is 18.6 to Slayer, and Jasper, I think, is going to struggle to stay onto the back of his DRS just from pace. Yep. Perfectly timed almost, really, and Mike is making up time like a man possessed. Slayer has a warning, Jasper does not. Mike has one as well, so you got to think Jasper's in good nick, but if Slayer picks up a pen, this isn't over. But then you have this spectre lying over them with McDutchface, who is. The thing is, the time advantage isn't massive. Well, he is, but it's hard to overtake here, isn't it? Oh, we have Jasper around. I think he's stepped too far on the pedal. I don't think that was any contact. He seemed quite far away from anybody, and now he's... Oh, such a shame for him, because he was looking quicker than I've ever seen him. He's in 9th. Not out of it, end of the day, but that helps McDutchface again, because it's another person to not have to get round. %. So let's check if is anyone on the 2-stop. Swimp's on the 2-stop. Swimp's decided for that, which is interesting, and I don't think anyone else has. Svenos Dios has actually. He's quite far back, so I mean, if Swimp can actually get up to these guys, make a move on them, and there's a a middlingly late safety car, he puts himself back into it. So here's a guy I want to keep an eye on as well as Passe, because even though he had that incident that seemed to knock him back a little bit early in the race, he could catch him back. Yeah, he needs to get out ahead of Cloudy. Yeah, he does easily, actually. So he's not in a bad spot. Five or 6 seconds or so, I think, and Mike is. I think the pit gap here is somewhere between 22 and 23 seconds, isn't it? So you would favour Dutchface to come out ahead, but in some ways that's not necessarily an issue because Mike will have DRS, and I don't think he'll be close enough. Dutchface will be close enough to Slayer to have it himself. So that's instantly going to cause some issues for him to defend to Mike. Well, this will be close. Oh, it's going through the chicane. It's coming round the Rudy bend, as I will call it, and he is. It's going to be close. Dutchface is on exit. Oh, he's going to get him, but like I say, I think it's not. It's just within a second, so Mike needs to really hold on to the back and then kind of leech off him a little bit. Yeah, 100%. Swip isn't catching as much as he would hope, but that doesn't surprise me because the problem is with the mediums is that depending on how, I don't know if he's on pad or wheel, if he's on a pad they can overheat still, and actually they're not as useful for as long against the hards as you might think. Well, this is a lot more calm than the last D5 Catalonia race that I commentated on. It was chaos everywhere. Yeah, this is... There is, yeah, 100% with Dutchman. I think he is rapid as well, but he's clean too. He's got no pens. So yeah, he's he does like it. I think he enjoys that, but some part of me wonders if he doesn't necessarily push too much in quali just to have the fun of it. I think. Sure. What I find interesting now is that the gaps are kind of there, so to speak. Swip and Passe, if they have any sense, they won't battle because they're not really battling on the same piece of ground. I mean, I suppose the only thing you could say is that if there's an SC, you don't really want to let Swip through. But it's going to be quite... It's kind of almost calming down a bit now, isn't it? And I feel like there's always a twist in the tail, particularly in this division. And I think Dutchface isn't actually gaining that much on Slayer, if anything at all. Although he's putting the hammer down. He's struggling on Urs a bit, so this might just be what Slayer might be thinking, in fairness to him, is this guy's probably going to catch me at some point. I need to stay out as long as feasibly possible in case an SC comes out. It's not a bad idea, to be honest. Slayer's on 2. Dutchface is clean. And Ivor is on 2 warnings too, so MCR's clean, and I think Passe's clean too. So it's so finely poised. It's yeah. It's Emperor now going up the inside. Ooh, and he backs out like crazy. I didn't expect that. Oh, we have some yellows. Oh no, we have Jasper again. I'd probably pit at this point and stick on some mediums. Yeah, just he's carried on, but then actually, yeah. So he is, yeah, he's going to be catching MCR, and MCR isn't catching Mike enough. McDutchface is slowly but surely. I mean, he doesn't have to do much, does he, with 16 laps to go? He kind of has to catch like basically 2 tenths a lap, not even that. Big cost. Big cost. I think there's a massive cost there because I don't see MCR and Passe getting a pen. And I think he might well be. I mean, Slayer may well pick one up, but he. It feels like it, doesn't it? Like, I feel like Slayer could. Slayer's the kind of guy, though, in experience that can also pretty much. If he gets to about lap 25, I would back him to not get another warning. Because he did it against Mike, didn't he, at Japan? As Passe is past MCR, Rel. What's all these abbreviations? Yeah. No, it's not. It is, isn't it? In fact, I'm actually one of the few people that I'm glad joined the team. Because it just makes my life easier. But no, let's see this gap. I mean, that's going to be a bit of a dagger to Mike because I think he would have fancied himself potentially to gap MCR potentially, but I think he can. Well, actually, is MCR going to get to the end? You know, that's a factor that if he does, then he's a tyre wizard. Because I don't think I've ever seen anyone go from lap 7. Dave's in the pit. This is a very strange prediction. But we have Dave down in 16th, who's the last man to not be lapped. And I'm going to predict that Dave gets points. Svenos Dios comes into the pits. The 2-stop is I feel like it's an under-practiced strategy, unfortunately. In the sense, as in, like, I think people that are doing it haven't really put enough time into thinking about what they should have done. 100%. It's not the best idea. No, it's not at all, is it? I don't know what it is. It's almost like the slipstream isn't as strong. I mean, you compare the slipstream to Spain, from Spain down that main straight to the back straight at Spa. Like, it almost feels like 2 different games. I don't ever understand. Like, you look at Slump here, right? Slump's on the back of Swib. This should be easy, but it's not. Okay, actually, it ended up being quite easy. Ignore me, but. Pass on the back of either. depends how mean Ivor wants to be at this point. Because what I would find interesting is Dutchface isn't catching Slayer. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at how quick we're going to compare Slayer to Passe. So 19-1-2-2 is from Slayer, and then we look at Passe, who is doing 18-9, 18-5, 18-7. I mean, he is the man of the track. He is, and he's got enough time, but he has to get past Ivor. See, this is, I think, this is an error. This is a huge error. Passe's kind of, if you looked at his ERS usage there, he was indecisive, and he's kind of burned 10% there on a track where it's hard to get it back, almost for no real gain. I feel like you let Ivor kind of use that energy to stay ahead, and obviously to keep, you know, a bit of full momentum, and then you kind of pounce once it's low. He doesn't need to get past this lap or last lap or next lap. What he needs to do is get past him fairly efficiently, as Slayer does pick up a pen. And Passe also, hopefully, you know, he's going to look at that. I think if he can see first from fourth, can you see first from fourth? You can't, can you? You can only see up to second, so he won't know. Yeah, first we'll be able to know, but Passe won't. And what I find interesting is if he knew that, he might be a little bit more patient. Well, actually, yeah, he's highly likely to, being part of a team. Again, Passe uses it. Mike doesn't, and this is what's really interesting. And Passe gets off it again. Don't half commit. Someone needs to have a word with him within his newly found team. If you're going to half commit, you're burning ERS for no reason. You've gained half a tenth, and you've lost the ability to pass. %. I mean, a good place would be, well, could do it the chicane, I suppose. Depends on the run you get. I mean, yes, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, 100%. Turn 3. If you put overtake and Richon out of turn 2, and kind of chew through your tyres for one lap round turn 3, you can actually make a considerable amount of time and get onto the back of them. But Ivor, crucially, I think he's missed the boat, because Ivor's in DRS now. We didn't. I think he lost it over the line. Now Ivor's going to push like mad. Yeah, look, Passe's done it. He's ruined it. He's not close enough, I don't think. And that's it. He's stuck behind him from a race win. I'm going to say now, I don't think there's any chance he actually beats Dutchface unless he makes a mistake. Wow. I mean, I find that bizarre, because I would have just stayed out as much as possible. Well, I wouldn't have gone hards for a start, but what I would have probably done is stayed out and just hoped for an SC. He's going to struggle to get sixth now, which is unfortunate for him. And look, the Passe is, Ivor's in a great spot. You know, he doesn't need to do tons. I mean, what Passe really needs to do is take his medicine, but I bet you he doesn't. I bet you he's going to carry on. Yeah, look, straight into the ERS, straight into overtake. You're going to start getting into that flashing light of doom before the end of it, and that's that. And then Ivor sat there with 17. But if he'd have not done it over and over again, what you'd have found is that Ivor would be a sitting duck this lap or next lap. Yep. I wonder what's going on with Dutchface. Is he tightening up a tiny bit because he knows that he's basically in the net lead of the race? I mean, that can easily happen. Yeah, Slayer's having to. Agreed. I mean, I think the saving grace for Slayer at this point is that he knows that if he can keep always, Dutchface makes a big mistake. I feel like going through the chicane, and it. Well, no, maybe it's just a slightly different style of exit. He's made it back actually, but Dutchface has got DRS on the lapped car, and that has helped him hugely. Yeah, and this is, it's all kind of tightening up, slump. I mean, we haven't really paid much attention to him. He's had a very, but he's on those hards too, so I think he's too far back. I don't think he can necessarily do much, but MCR's past Jasper already. I mean, that is a very quick way to dispatch him. I thought he wouldn't be able to get past Cloudy, but something for that fastest lap point potentially. Now, Passe is on the back. There's a yellow. There's Cerebo getting out of the way now. Look, this is huge. This is crucial. Passe needs to stick. He needs to have a brilliant exit. He's lost time there. He does seem to have a more aggressive exit. He's right on the back. This should be it. But he's going to run out of hers. And if he had that 10-15% like we talked about, this is an easy move. There you go. That's exactly it. Another. You know, I'll be honest, I was speaking to Mike about his ERS usage in Japan, about getting past Slayer. It was a big criticism I had in a way. I feel like he should have done what I'm saying Passe should have done, which is hold it. Or as he goes for a move, he's frustrated, he's furious because he knows he can't get past. Yeah, but he can't get past. And I feel like if Ivor's now playing a game where it's more sensible, he's got a warning there, 100%. Now Passe is getting impatient, and he's going for it down here where he's gonna, and then he stops. It's just a bizarre. And I'm not picking on it. What I'm trying to do, I suppose, is I think D5 sometimes. Yeah, this is it. I think D5 is a learning ground. It always has been, and I think hopefully he looks back at this race and gets a bit of an understanding as to what went wrong, why he couldn't get past Mike, not just the frustration of not being able to. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Someone used it on me, and I think and it threw me off. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna go get another beer. I'll be back in a sec. So, this is it. I mean, he's going to overtake Mike. He's listening. Someone's telling him because he's not using it. 100%. This is so surprising. I think McDutchface is tightening up a bit. I think he's feeling the pressure of it. MCR is flying. That is going to be a battle for 6th at some point. That's as far as he's going to get. The soft medium medium just wasn't the strat, was it? Or a soft hard medium he did. Yes. Dave is unfortunately well, Dave has been lapped, so that's my prediction out the window, unfortunately. Although he's 13th, so he could get a point. Right, Passe is making a move. He has got a little bit more to use. He's going to have a look. You would assume no. Oh, he does. Ooh. Bit of a lunge, Mike. Bit not giving as much space as you probably should, but then it was a bit of a lunge. So for me, I think that's a 10-10 round in boxing. I'm not going to judge that one until that's an on-board one. I think it wasn't very cut and dry. So again, though, look, it puts Passe in a situation where fair play to him. He did use and he did save the ERS, and it's the closest he got. But Mike was in no mood to let him by. Yeah, which is interesting because in itself, because now McDutchface actually has snuck back in to 3-second range. So maybe this is the point. Maybe you're 100% right about the tyres kind of going off now. That this is the point where it's going to become harder for Slayer and Mike and Cloudy, particularly. I mean, Cloudy's got a world of problems with a very fast Spaniard behind him on better tyres and fresher tyres. But now, what can Passe do? But now, look, for me, yeah, and he's found out again that he's run out of juice and he's not close enough. And I get what you mean. Have a pretend look, but instead of having a pretend look, instead of doing that every lap, don't have a pretend look, don't run your ERS, and then do it every other lap and actually have a look. Yeah. This is it. You think if Passe got past Ivor in this race first time, well, let's say third time, because let's say he saved his ERS, we can't just magically assume that. And again, he's back on it again. He's back on it. I mean, this straight is. It's as short as J. Cole. This straight, like you can't overtake on there, and he's finding it out. And again, look, it's just as much as this game does feel like it's about usage of battery. I mean, Ivor's already blinking. I think. Oh no, I think it's because he's got a red car. Yeah, it's just purely because he's got a red car and the way the light was reflecting off the rear wing. But yeah, no, and then look, he realises, oh, I can't do it again when I'm on 3%, so I'm going to have to stop doing it. And he has another look, and we're going to have the same soap opera next lap, unless Mike makes a pretty big mistake. Yeah, I think at this point he's going to struggle to get further than third, which is unfortunate. But you've got a podium. Don't go wheel to wheel with Mike through corner turn 1, because it's going to end either you get third, which you got anyway, or you get like there's not much value at this point. No. this is it. This is it. As Passe is listening. It's too late for an SC now, obviously. But this gap, we haven't really given it enough care and attention. It is 2.9, 2.8, 3.0, 3.1 pretty much exclusively. I'm going to ride on board with them. I want to see if there's... I mean, Dutchface is feeling it. He's gone too... That was a bad entry to that corner. Just riding on board with him, and he's tentative through here, but not the slowest in fairness. It gets really tentative. I just feel like, but then so Slayer. I think they're both tightening up. I think they're both really feeling the pressure. As Passe is on the back of Mike, he's going to go for it. He has to. Fair play. Mike can't do anything about it. Now, the hunted become the. This could be an exemplary situation where Mike does have enough, and it could almost go completely back on itself on a 180. Go on, Mike. I hope you're listening. Show us some education. He's got enough. Passe's derated already. Look, this is exactly what we meant, Passe. Oh no, don't do that. Well, to be fair, Mike, congratulations on your podium, because, and again, I think, I'm sorry, maybe I'm talking out of turn there, but that for me is another example of naivety. And I think I'd be very surprised, I'd be horrifically surprised if that isn't going to cause further ramifications. Yep. It's not the worst incident. I mean, we know what Mike's like. He can lose it. He'll have an incident and have another one, but he doesn't need to. This gap is ridiculous. Dutchface is closing. He's closing and closing, but it's gone back up. Oh no, it's glitching. Slayer, right? What can he do? This is the time, isn't it? Oh, he's got over 3. What's he doing? It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Oh my god, this is so tight. Oh, he done it. Unbelievable. Passe will come over the line third. Fair play to with Dutchface. Incredible race. Those two will definitely be in the chat after congratulating each other. They pushed each other right to the end. Ivor with 4th. Passe third. For now, Slump in 5th. MCR, what could have been for him? Oh dear, he's let his country down. He's let Doom down, more importantly. In 6th, Cloudy in 7th, Swip in 8th, Jasper another one. I mean, he got 23 laps on those. I mean, Cloud and Cloudy. Feel for him, and yeah, and then Flip, Svenos, Ryan. Dave got lapped. Ryan, well done. Good result for him. I haven't seen him pick up too many points this season, unless I'm really mistaken. But good effort from him. As Feekbonk is doing donuts, what a lad. We appreciate this. Good man. Well, this is it. I mean, I'd be pretty happy if Lando Norris was doing donuts at some point during the race, to be honest. As right, what's he going to do here? Look, if you're listening, freak, overtake him, get him, go for a dive, go on. This is ridiculous. Absolutely no heart. No, get him. Oh, he's. Hey, there you go. Get him. This is like the end of D3. He's going to do it. What a move! Fantastic way to end the stream. He's taking it with a sense of humour. No, you certainly wouldn't. Well, that was a rather interesting race. I think I do want to stick that up on the wall almost for a lesson to every new driver out there. And well played. I mean, you've got to have the pace to do what Passe did, and I feel for him because I think that actually could have been his race, but it wasn't, because we have a double Dutch 1-2 there from a Dutch face who isn't out of this title race. I still don't think. Slayer in second, Passe in third, Mike in fourth, Slumpcon in fifth, Ola MCR in sixth, Strategy best two-stopper, so he gets that award. Cloudy Cloud in seventh, Swip in eighth, Jasper in ninth, Flip in 10th, Svenos in 11th, Ryan Belshaw 12th, Dave 13th, Bellon Emperor, Freak Frank Master of Donuts, ST5, Sir Ibo, and Riley retired. I think he might have had some issues, to be fair, because he was really struggling. You know, that Vexham guy. You don't copy that man's setups for a race, if anyone is listening. But yeah, this opens the title back up, and what I really enjoy is that, as much grief as we give Ivor, he's going to enjoy his role in the last 5 races, which is going to be a fly in the ointment. He can't win the title, but he can implement it. He can get really in there. 100%. 100%. Been eventful. It's been tough from our point of view. We will, as I say, I'll save the footage, and I wish I'd have done it earlier actually in some senses, but we'll mix both. Oh, so yeah, that wasn't the best. That wasn't the best. But nothing you could do from the looks of it. It sounds absolutely crazy, to be honest. I think Mike's going to have a strict word with Passe as well. There is something about our party, because what's happened is there's an incident that's both meant that me and Ivor have come forth. So there we go. I should join your party. I need a bit of, I need a little bit of that luck. I'm sure you did. I bet Bree was particularly happy. Bloody Maltese git. As much as I love him. Oh dear. Right, well, enough of my moaning. I'm going to go and have another beer and cry myself to sleep. But I don't think what Dutch Face is going to. So that's it from us. You can hear us both eventually. I promise. And good night. Thanks all.